For the people who thought the Duke and Duchess of Sussex would be hurt by the fact the convicted felon and rapist Donald Trump said that he wouldn't deport Harry because he's got enough problems with his wife who's terrible. I'm sorry, because clearly these two don't seem to give a fuck. Look how unbothered they are. Also, it seems Trump is the one with his hands full desperately trying to convince the world that he's the real president of the United States, not Musk. At least Harry's wife actually wants to touch him. It looks like certain people are going to have to find a different couple to hate because the Duke and Duchess of Sussex remain unbothered. The opening ceremonies for the 2025 Invictus Games just wrapped up in Vancouver Whistler and was by far the best opening ceremony yet. So far, the Invictus Games has not only been a very moving and impressive event, but it has also been a series of middle fingers to all of Harry and Meghan's haters. Meghan recently said she was in her era of joy. Well, I think Harry and Meghan should call this their era of F you, kiss my ass. Let's recap. Harry and Meghan landed in Vancouver on Friday, February 8th, and reportedly they traveled via private jet. Let's call that fuck you number one. We know how upset the British tabloids get when Harry and Meghan use private jets. Even though they weren't upset about William flying 3,000 miles to hand out an eco award to no one. Harry and Meghan clearly don't care. According to GB News, senior royals will be hoping Harry's attention stays firmly fixed on Canada, and that the Duke of Sussex does not distract from the royal family's brilliant start to 2025 cues several thousand stories about Harry and Meghan in Canada. The couple then went to a welcome event where Meghan gave a sweet impromptu speech introducing Prince Harry. In case you're brand new, Meghan's haters hate it when she gives speeches, even though she is a much better public speaker than most of the so-called working royals. Right-wing commentators tantrumed during the last Invictus Games in 2023 when Meghan dared to address the crowd. I'm serious. It was a major news story that Meghan dared to say that she was excited to be there. They even debated on Loose Woman whether it was appropriate for Meghan to use her children as an excuse for showing up late. I doubt Meghan is aware of how much her speeches trigger her haters, but nonetheless, let's call this FU number 2. During her impromptu speech, she dropped a bunch of trigger words for her haters as well. My husband, the father to our 2 sweetest children, the founder of Invictus Games, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. Meghan's trolls absolutely hate it when she calls her husband her husband.
She very carefully called Harry my husband, which they always do in public. It drives me mad. They call each other my husband and my wife. You know, if it was really off the cuff.
Now, I doubt Meghan called her husband deliberately to troll her trolls. Regardless, let's call it kiss my ass number 1. And there was some PDA. Let's call that FU number 3 because certain people get so triggered by these two kissing. Then on Saturday, Harry and Meghan surprised Team USA by attending their team breakfast. Meghan even posted some cute stories on her Instagram of her with the woman of Team USA. Apparently, they told Meghan they loved suits, and Meghan apologized for not wearing a pencil skirt. For some reason, people feel the need to police what Meghan posts on her Instagram account, even though the other royals are constantly posting about their charitable endeavors. The Daily Mail was enraged when Meghan posted about replacing a young girl's Billie Eilish merch after she lost it in the LA wildfires. Meghan, who is clearly in her era of joy, doesn't seem to care what anyone thinks. She has been posting reels and stories from the Invictus Games regularly. Let's call that FU number 4. I, for one, love that Meghan can fight back against the media narrative by posting her own content. I wonder if Meghan has a content person helping her. What do you guys think? The opening ceremony
Invictus Games 2025 are officially open.
A crowd of 40,000 spectators. Trump wishes he could get this size crowd. For his opening number, Chris Martin delivered a moving rendition of the Invictus Games anthem, which he created in 2014 using the lyrics of the Invictus poem by William Ernest Henley, while accompanied by the Universal Gospel Choir. He also gave a cheeky anecdote between songs.
Okay, we'd like to say thank you, of course, to Prince Harry. When he called me, he said, I've called every other musician in the world. They all said they're not available, so I have to call you. And I said, Your Royal Holiness, I'm honored. But thank you, Harry, for being such an inspiring leader and kind and sweet man. And I hope you have the most wonderful games of all. And it's a pleasure to be here. Happy Invictus time. All right, this is called Viva La Vida, and we'll go.
Chris Martin clearly has a great deal of respect for Prince Harry and was happy to show up. But you never hear about Harry's relationship with people like Chris Martin, because the British press is too busy speculating about Harry and Meghan's alleged breakup with the Beckhams. A solo bagpipe performance by Master Corporal James Gendron preceded Chris Martin. James Gendron never wanted to play the bagpipes again, but thanks to the healing power of the Invictus Games, he is now playing the bagpipes in front of a crowd of 40,000 people. It's a really moving story. Harry got emotional as he watched, and Meghan comforted him by resting her head on his arm, much to the annoyance of her haters who claimed that Meghan was copying Kate because apparently the Princess of Wales has the copyright on resting your head on your husband's arm. Obviously, Meghan was just comforting her husband, but I love the fact that it's pissed off her haters. So let's call that, what number are we on again? number 5. Other performers included Harry and Meghan's Montecito neighbor Katy Perry and BC native Nelly Furtado. Remember when they implied that Katy Perry had somehow picked sides by performing at the coronation? Well, so much for that. Harry also gave a really moving speech.
At this moment, when there is no shortage of crises, no absence of uncertainty, no lack of weak moral character in the world, the values you embody, the way you carry yourselves, not only at the Invictus Games, but each and every day. Your courage, your resilience, your humanity illuminate a path forward for us all, and for that, we thank you. Someone once asked Nobel laureate Toni Morrison how we survive whole in the world. And she replied, "Sometimes you don't survive whole, you just survive in part. But the grandeur of life is that attempt."
Quoting Toni Morrison during Black History Month was a nice touch, but apparently it was too woke for some. Of course, the Daily Fail tried to suggest that Prince Harry's comment about there being no lack of weak moral character in the world in his speech during the Invictus opening ceremony was a dig at Trump. It could have been. Harry, a man who has taken on Rupert Murdoch and won, doesn't seem shy about calling anybody out. However, to be clear, at no point did Harry mention Trump or politics during his speech. He was referring to the good example veterans are to the rest of the world. The fact that people think Prince Harry was talking about Trump says more about Trump than it does about Prince Harry. Listen to the entire speech, it's worth it. The Mail also cited some BS anonymous insiders claiming that people think what Harry said was too woke, and apparently Harry and Meghan continuously insert themselves into the spotlight and people at the games don't like it, says the tabloid doing front page stories speculating about what Harry didn't say in his speech. What have Harry and Meghan done besides attend events for the Invictus Games? Cheer on athletes, meet with veterans and their families, and thank volunteers? Based on the many, many interactions Prince Harry and Meghan have had with veterans, their families, and volunteers thus far, there seems to be nothing but love and respect for them. Judging by the applause and the emotional reactions of those watching, I'd say people liked what Prince Harry said during his speech. This is a perfect example of the right-wing British press trying to make a narrative work despite evidence to the contrary. These are tabloid journalists hearing uncertainty and weak moral character and deciding that Harry was obviously talking about Trump. It's the British press insisting that this was a reference to Trump and trying to get other people worked up about it. It's not working. Harry and Meghan aren't responsible for the media's obsession with them. Anyway, back to scorekeeping. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex shared a kiss before Harry stepped away to deliver his speech. Contrary to what perpetually bitter trolls like Brittany Raymer of One Woman Royal News Network says, Harry wasn't annoyed by the kiss, he initiated it. Just get laid already, Brittany. You'd be less bitter. The Invictus Games have been difficult for people who get triggered by Harry and Meghan's PDA, to say the least.
I think that's what I was saying earlier. I think that she should have, let Harry get on with it himself instead of interfering, or indeed if she had planned it all, which as you say you thought she had, I mean, she should have said, well, actually has, or whatever she calls him, let me step back and you do it. And he doesn't need her. But
fun fact, Ingrid Seward's husband cheated on her for years. She only found out after his sudden death, so maybe she doesn't know what it's like to be in a supportive relationship. Honestly, Meghan can't win. If she wasn't at the Invictus Games supporting her husband and the organization, the press would run with stories about their marriage being in trouble and them being professionally separated, like they do whenever Harry and Meghan dare to have separate work engagements. Furthermore, people were delighted to have her there. I have a feeling Harry and Meghan know how much their affection towards each other pisses some people off, and clearly they don't care. I definitely think they're just being themselves, but I would also like to think Harry and Meghan are having fun trolling people. What do you guys think? Let's call this Kiss My Ass number 2. Ahead of the opening ceremony on Saturday, Meghan and Prince Harry took a golf cart ride through the concourse of the event venue. During their journey, Meghan held onto Harry's arm while Harry rested his hand on her leg. Meghan and Harry, who sat on the back of the cart, smiled and waved to participants. And at one point, the Duchess grabbed her husband's shoulders to show her support. Meghan wore a long ivory coat tied at her waist. Should I do a video on all of Meghan's looks during the Invictus Games? Let me know in the comments. Harry and Meghan looked excited and in love throughout the opening ceremony. Someone gave Meghan a pair of blue pom-poms, and honestly, she is the biggest Invictus cheerleader apart from Prince Harry. She was having a blast with those pom-poms, and she was also taking photos and videos on her phone. She even posted some stuff to her Instagram. For anyone like Mail Online ghoul Amanda Platel who thinks Harry and Meghan are playing it up for the cameras as some type of media strategy, where have you been the last 6 years? They have always been this way. It's nothing new. I'm not sure how Amanda can talk about Harry and Meghan's marriage when she couldn't even tell her own partner was married. After the opening ceremony, Prince Harry performed the ceremonial puck drop before the Canucks game against the Maple Leafs at Rogers Arena. Harry and Meghan got a warm welcome from the crowds, and there was more "F we don't care" PDA to rile up their critics. Later, Harry and Meghan went to dinner with their close friends Michael Bublé and his wife Louisana at their favorite Indian restaurant Vijay's in downtown Vancouver. According to the owner Vikram Vij, Meghan said that all she ate during her pregnancy was Indian food. You wouldn't believe how much this innocent comment triggered Meghan's most deranged haters, many of whom believe she faked her pregnancy. It's getting harder to deny that she might have in fact been pregnant. So let's call that FU number 6. On Meghan's last day at the Invictus Games before heading back home to California, Harry and Meghan went up to Whistler for the start of the winter portion of the Games. Harry gave a speech thanking Whistler for welcoming the Invictus Games. Harry cheekily put his wife on the spot as he brought Meghan on stage during a speech, jokingly saying, "Now she's going to sing," which made the audience laugh. Like I said, I think Harry and Meghan are just being themselves, but it has been fun watching them rile up their critics, whether intentionally or not. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Whenever Harry and Meghan are seen outside engaging with the public, it's always a good reminder that despite the unhinged scrutiny and hate the couple faces, they remain undeterred and happy. Don't forget to keep up with the Invictus Games. And thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.
Yeah, body weight back, bottom up, and go. Are you ready? 3, 2.
No, I really don't want to do it.
No, come on, you'll be absolutely fine.
Okay.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Here we go.
Keep your feet up.
Feet up, feet up, feet up. Genuinely.